Today I have an incredibly interesting watch from the brand March Labs. They were founded in Basque country and they are a French brand, but they've come out with a watch that is dedicated to Basque country because that's where they were founded. It gets some really cool design details that we'll go through during the video. It's obviously a March Lab, so this gets a very funky case and still very French. So let's flip the camera and take a look at a watch that is inspired by Basque country from the brand March Labs. As a brand in general, March Labs make very interesting, very distinct watches. You immediately know their brand just by looking at one of their watches. It doesn't matter if it's one of their square watches or semi-square watches like this watch, or even a round dive watch. They recently came out with a dive watch. Immediately you notice it, and you notice that it is a March Lab. They have a DNA, and they make some really interesting, very cool watches. And this is just another addition to their lineup that is cool. This is a Basque watch. So the owners of the company, I believe they started the company in Basque, in Spain. And it is a French brand, but they make French watches. But they decided to pay homage to that moment in time when they started the brand, and here it is. This is the watch that they came up with. It's in Basque red, so the dial is like a burgundy color, and they've also come up with a color for the strap that matches the dial pretty well, I think, but not exactly. It's like a brownish red, so there's a little bit of contrast there. I like that. And they went ahead and put that dial into one of their most recognizable cases. This is a very recognizable case. They also put a special case back that is the Basque flag. I believe that is the flag. And it is a limited edition. I'm not sure what these are limited to, but they're calling this the Basque watch because there is a date window on this watch that is in Basque. So that's a completely separate language, and in French. So this is a French brand that was started in Basque. That kind of makes sense, you know? And what you have here is a day date. So the day on here is green right now. That's the 3rd. They always do that. There is one day. It's always the 3rd. That is green on their date windows. That is something that they do on all of their watches. A little bit difficult to do. Green is their color. So there's green on here as well. The back of this strap is in March Labs green. But like I said, they wanted to do something a little bit different with this, so they went with a brownish burgundy strap and then that burgundy dial. This is also a quartz, so this is also a little bit different from what I have featured from them here on my channel in the past. This is getting a Ronda 517. You have applied indices. You sort of have a stepped dial, so there's two distinct portions of the dial, a central portion, then an outer portion with those applied indices and the minute track. When you look at the dial really close up, it's almost like a brush dial, but it's a satin finish. Beautiful dial on here, beautiful color, and the case is what you would expect from March Lab. This is a stainless steel version. I think I've only featured titanium versions here on my channel, but it's very angular. You have polishing and brushing, and you can see as you move it around, especially around the crown, which is a very interesting crown. They always put very interesting crowns on their watches. This one has their logo in there. It's a little bit of an enamel on there, or it might be actually just covered. I'm not sure, but I think it is an enamel. And then it's very grippy because on the crown itself has some knurling that is reminiscent of their logo, and I think that's kind of what they do. So it is really grippy and is large as well, very easy to operate on this watch. And then you get a very custom buckle on here that obviously again goes in line with that case, the whole point behind this watch. Even though you're not getting a screwed-in crown, you do get 100 meters of water resistance. You get a screwed-in case back though, so you do get 100 meters of water resistance. So it's a pretty capable everyday watch. On wrist today, I have a wild watch that I just recently purchased. This is a full meteorite case. It's called the David Rudden. It's also a jump hour with 120 hours of power reserve. It is a very big, large brick of meteorite. And then there is a titanium case back. So pretty crazy watch. Very Art Deco inspired. I love this. And there it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. These watches wear really nicely. They look really cool on the wrist. They don't look like other watches. And, you know, in my opinion, I think that's a good thing. Obviously, you can see that I like watches that are very unique. This is a 38 millimeter watch. I have a 7.5-inch wrist. The lug to lug is only 44 millimeters, so it does wear well, even though this is a tank watch, a square watch with a 38 millimeter width. That does seem very, very large, but it's not. It actually wears really well because you do have that 44 millimeter lug to lug. So it fits very well on my wrist. I think it would fit smaller wrists than mine as well. It's also on the thinner side, considering it's around 11 millimeters thick. One other thing I do want to mention about this, it does get a K1 mineral crystal, which is a little bit strange considering the price. We'll talk about price in just a few seconds. I wish this got a sapphire crystal. It is a quartz on top of that, so a quartz watch with a K1 mineral crystal. This is on the more expensive side. We'll talk about price in just a second. This does get Lume though. There is Lume on the hour and minutes hand, so let's do a quick Lume shot and then we'll talk about price. And there's Lume. There's not a ton of Lume here, obviously. It's just on the hands. You can't see that your watch is working in the dark because there is no Lume on the second hand, but technically this is a dress watch, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But there is Lume there, so you can see that your watch is working in the dark. I do wish that there was a little bit more Lume and that it lasted a little bit longer. Price on this is $788, so that is a lot of money considering what you are getting here. If this was an automatic at that price or had a sapphire crystal, I think it would be a little bit more attractive. It definitely is a unique watch. It has a unique function. It's the only watch with a Basque date. If you're interested in that, then it's something very, very unique, something, you know, that there are no other watches that do that. Obviously, there is only a very small section of the population who will find that interesting. Other than that, I do think it's a good looking watch. And of course, it's really well made. $788 is a lot of money for a quartz watch. But again, if you really like this watch, it's always going to be worth it, right? So tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of the overall idea of a Basque watch? Have you ever thought to yourself, hey, why are there no watches with a date window that is in Basque and in French? Pretty interesting, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. I'll put a link to this watch down in the description below. They have a lot of other really cool watches there on their website. Definitely check them out. And that's really it, guys. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I will catch you guys in the next video.